The views and comments of the hosts and guests are not necessarily those of the station.
Hi, I'm Nicole Jacinto. Join us on Healthline with 𝗏𝗏𝗁 as we discuss the latest health and medical topics with doctors from 𝗏𝗏𝗁. For a healthier and uplifting lifestyle, tune into Healthline with 𝗏𝗏𝗁 on DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Radio Bandido TV. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Watch and listen to Healthline with 𝗏𝗏𝗁 every Monday from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. airing on Sky Cable Channel 224 and on all DTT boxes, simulcasting online on Facebook and YouTube. Listen and watch on your mobile devices. Just search DZRJ Radio Bandido.
You're about to experience Healthline, a show where doctors from 𝗏𝗏𝗁 interact with you for a healthy, uplifting lifestyle. Moderated by Nicole Jacinto. You've got questions, we've got answers. So welcome to Healthline.
Hi everybody and welcome to Healthline with 𝗏𝗏𝗁. Merry Christmas! It is December 25 and today we have with us Dr. Amado Flores III. Again, yes, because why? Because we're talking about emergency room situations during the holidays. And before we start, Doctor, I'd just like to greet my father. Hello, Daddy. Merry Christmas, Dad. I'm wearing your favorite color for Christmas. Merry Christmas, Mom. Merry Christmas to all my sisters and the rest of my family and relatives. Merry Christmas, Tata. Merry Christmas, Nina and family. Okay, Doctor. How you doing?
I'm good. Merry Christmas to you. And thank you very much for inviting me again to your program. It's my privilege and to be part of your program. It's an honor for me. Thank you.
It's actually my privilege, and you're welcome on anytime, as I said, and I'm happy you're here with us today to discuss emergency room situations and emergencies during the holidays, basically. And so, is there anyone you'd like to greet before we start, or later na lang, or?
Just later.
Later,
later
okay.
na lang.
Sige. Doctor, what are the common emergencies seen in the ER during the holidays?
Okay, that's a very good question. You know, in the emergency room, we see a lot of cases. You know, name it under the sun, we see them all. So, but during the holidays, we see different types of cases. Right now, because of the changes in temperature and because of a lot of gatherings, family reunions, we see a lot of respiratory illnesses and fever. So, still the influenza-like illnesses, and then COVID is still around the corner. So we're seeing an increased number of COVID cases. And then because of a lot of parties, we have a lot of alcohol-related injuries, such as falls and slips, and even vehicular accidents. This is very common during this time of the year. And we also see a lot of abdominal related complaints. So because of a lot of eating, our food is very rich, you know. We have a lot of abdominal pains, diarrhea, vomiting. And then sometimes you also have those people due to stress, this holiday-related stress, would complain of anxiety, would complain of fatigue, and then some headaches, palpitations, and chest pains. So those are the usual or common cases that increase during this time of the season.
Mm-hmm. And okay, so you mentioned a few things. One is and we'll go through them a little bit in depth, and but one is, of course, the vehicular accidents that happen, and they may or may not be related to alcohol as well.
Yes.
Or just like the rush of during Christmas time here in the Philippines, there are so many reunions, parties. I mean, people take the time and they pack it in, and it's all kind of packed into this small amount of time, and then everyone
Yes.
complains about the traffic, but we still go out, and then and then also like people visiting from other countries or family members. So yeah, that can happen. Uh, and when we talk about vehicular accidents, are they nowadays? Do you see a rise more? I'm just curious in like motorcycle related accidents.
Yes, you're very much correct. we have a change in the type of vehicular accidents that we see now after the pandemic because of the rise of those motorcycle services, your deliveries, and then because of the people rushing, we have more motorcycle vehicular accidents we see now compared before. Before we have a lot of our car accidents related, but now it's really more of a motorcycle, bicycle as well. Those two types of vehicles. Okay.
Yes. I mean, before, yes, you're right. Before it's like people speeding or, maybe not being exactly sober or whatever it is, just trying to get from one
Yeah.
gathering or another. And nowadays it's, yeah, I can imagine the motorcycle accidents. I just saw a couple like in one day, you know.
It's really the volume. I mean, they sprouted like a mushroom. We're going like to Vietnam, like Vietnam volume
Yes.
of motorcycles. So
Yes.
definitely we will see a lot of more motorcycle accidents.
Yeah, just this is my personal statement or reminder to those out there who drive motorcycles, whether it's for a living or you use it to get around. Just be a little more careful because you don't. I mean, you might think you have the right of way, but if you insist, you
Yeah.
fall and bam, you're on the pavement. You're
Yes.
the one who can sustain the most injury.
Correct. Follow the traffic rules, and then, if possible, my personal experience as well. Please don't overtake me on my right side, in my
Yeah.
blind side. Yeah.
Yeah, don't overtake on the right side and then insist and shove yourself in there.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I'm also talking from experience. And then, like, I cannot stop in time. Or sometimes the motorcycles bump you, and then they're
Yes.
pissed off, and you're like, but it was your fault. And then they bumped into you, but then they get injured, so you have to stop. Okay, and then that causes the stress related stuff as well that happens.
True.
And okay, so we'll go through those things a little bit. And okay, so how does the holiday season, like, how what effect does it have, or how does it impact the traffic in the ER? Does it increase? Does it, is it still the same, or?
Yeah, that's a very good question again. Now, during the holidays, the emergency department becomes one of the primary venue or channel that patients try to seek when the clinics are closed.
Yeah.
During the holidays, most of the clinics are closed. Most of our doctors are also in the holiday. So we see a lot of cases. We see some cases that about like chronic cases, or those patients would have prolonged concerns that because they're busy with work, they only have the time to go to the hospital during this time of the year. So we see a lot of consults of chronic illnesses or even chronic concerns that can be managed in the clinics, but again, clinics are closed, so we cater to those patients as well. So the other than the emergencies, the true emergencies, we see a lot of consults just to give them a little bit of what they can do before they can have their schedule again with their doctors after the holidays.
Yes, I imagine that happens, and also, for their peace of mind also. And as you said, maybe they and or their doctors were very, very like kind of busy beforehand, and then
Yes.
if you're feeling that this is happening now and the clinics are closed, then they would go to you for a consultation. And I have a question. I mean, obviously in your hospital, your ER is open all the time, like all year round.
Yes. Yes.
How about your other well, I imagine they would be too, but I mean, like, specific services like your other laboratories, or special let's say nuclear medicine, is it
Yeah.
open also, ganun?
The vital services of the hospital is open. The emergency department, the laboratory, radiology, but the specialty clinics are most of the time closed during the holidays, during December 24 to 26 and January. So they're open only on usual office hours,
Yes.
but not on the holiday.
Yes, unless it's an emergency, then you then that's why. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, doctor. That's a great explanation, and also good for us to know that, a lot of people do consult with you for chronic illnesses, but maybe it's very necessary. So maybe after watching the shows, you'll get more patients with bukas pala.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
okay. Kailangan.
It's okay. It's okay. We see a lot of those who have. I have this headache for 1 year. I have this back pain for about 3 years. I have this neck pain for how many years? This is the only time that I can go to the hospital. I'm busy with work. It's okay with us. It's
And then, yeah.
We're welcome to go.
Oh, thank you, doctor. See, that's so welcoming to all the patients out there. Or like, it's the holidays, my in-laws are a pain in the neck, and now I actually feel a pain in my neck. Okay, so anyway, just kidding. Or not, happens. Are there, during the holidays, this time of the year here for us in especially in Metro Manila, where the hospital is located, do you find that there are any specific health concerns or conditions that people should be mindful of or think about during the holiday season? Like maybe not just their chronic illnesses or some kind of accidents. Maybe in a way it's a preventative thing, or but
So during this holiday, those people that should be mindful are those with previous comorbidities, those patients who have, for example, heart problems, lung problems, especially for during New Year, and those who have chronic kidney disease. Those people who have chronic concerns should be mindful of their activities and then the amount of food they eat, especially the activities. I would remind them not to be stressed about anything or everything. Move in the pace that is you're okay with you, not to strain your heart, and then just to eat in moderation, not the rich food. Just eat the healthy ones.
That's great, doctor. Thank you for saying that. I know also, it's the holidays we're supposed to be enjoying, but one, it's sad for some people, and it's stressful also, and you're kind of expected to move sometimes at a breakneck pace. For you, it's a breakneck pace, like going from one gathering to another. But as you said, just kind of, I'm paraphrasing here, like, which just kind of treat it like, a normal time, do it at your own pace, and just kind of explain. I mean, this is just my personal thing, but you can skip some stuff.
Yes.
To accept every invitation. Maybe you can see them at another time of the year, because that would add to your moving around if you have chronic illnesses also. You mentioned CKD. Is that quite a concern during the holidays? Have you seen patients who have chronic kidney disease like tend to go more because of whatever activities during the holiday?
Yeah. Sometimes because they can miss their dialysis or they can miss their treatment. So we see them after the holidays. People don't want to go to the hospital during 24 and 25, and then sometimes they miss their schedule, so they will go after that one. So we see an increase in those patients who would need an emergency dialysis or
and maybe sometimes it's also like I know it's a difficult thing to have, and I know that I can imagine dialysis can be very tiring for someone. But if you do miss your schedule, or sometimes it's also like pressure, no, sige, I'll do it na lang tomorrow kasi your family's there or your friends are there, there's a gathering. Do it if you can, so that you don't get hurt even more and stressed even more. That kind of thing. That's a great reminder, doctor. I mean, about the activities for patients with chronic illnesses, and even the heart or the stomach or any other type of thing. Especially as we get a little bit older and we have these things that we didn't have before, sometimes still want to participate the way we used to. Don't sleep, eat as much as you can, but we just have to, as you said, eat in moderation. Don't eat the rich foods too much. And just kind of, I guess, relax a bit in that sense. Like you don't have to jump into it. And the stress, boy, I'm kind of, okay, let's focus on the stress. the
Okay.
stress and anxiety, has that been happening more often in recent years as opposed to before, like seeing patients because maybe they had an anxiety attack or something?
Okay. Regarding the increase in the consults on anxiety, we actually noticed this after the pandemic or even during the pandemic, and it's still currently a problem right now.
Yeah.
But during the holiday, you can really see a lot of concerns of patients that is really stress related.
Yeah.
Those people who are, I mean, Makati Med is in the business district,
Yes.
so most of our patients are corporate patients. Those they are stressed in work and
Yeah.
even doing the parties and a lot of things to catch up before the year. So
Yeah.
so there is stress, and then there will be stress in the family gathering as well, going to the mall for gifts. So this stress is causing them a lot of issues. I mean, psychosomatic issues such as headaches, palpitations, chest pains, or even shortness of breath for
Yeah.
that matter. Yeah.
I would understand that. And if you're not, especially if it's the just like the first or second or third time that you've had an anxiety attack, you don't know what it is, and you think, "Oh my
Yes.
God, am I having a heart attack?" Right? Or you're, "Why can't I breathe well?" And the people around you would also be concerned for you. And there's also the other side where people who just ignore it end up
Yes.
getting even sicker. Like they just collapse at a party or something. So yeah, that would be, and I mean, if they must go to the emergency room. And as you said, you're in a business district. There's a lot of things to finish before the end of the year, and then
Yes.
and then we have Christmas parties at work. They're like, oh my God. And then also at home, oh my God. And I on a personal note, I just, know everybody, I'm not giving anything for Christmas, and I'm not bothering to go out there and buy stuff. You gotta just give love on Christmas Day, quoting Michael Jackson.
I would like, I think I would also do that.
Yeah. I don't want to add to it. No, no more. It's celebrations get different at different times. But you did notice this more after the pandemic. And I guess this is more of a like a mental health issue, but um coming back, I noticed has been, first of all, we were all freaked out during the pandemic. Then secondly, coming back in and saying, let's all normalize. It's still not the same. It's still not a normal thing.
Very true. Very true.
If you're feeling that way, folks, anyone in the audience, it's okay. Go and try to, if you must, go and try to seek help with a mental health professional.
Correct.
And it's let's take away the stigma. And I mean, something really big happened during our lifetime.
Yes.
For the younger people, that's something that may never happen again in your lifetime, hopefully. I mean, for people like me who are not so young, I mean, my God, there was a Cold War, and they were like, you can push the button anytime. Then there's this, there's that, there's this, there's that. And then, so anyway, those things do get to you.
Yes, true.
And whether they happen in your country or outside and you're aware of world events, those things do get to you. And also the stress of like, just even you say it's a celebration, but there's like conflict that comes out. So yeah, that happens. Okay, Doc. Let's talk about injuries that might occur, or do you see any common injuries? And if so, what are the most common that are related to, kitchen accidents during the holiday?
Yeah. Yeah. We also see a lot of kitchen accidents because, because they're busy preparing the things now. So most of the time we see a lot of cuts and burns. So those are the things. So cuts very frequent because they're moving a lot, and then burns because they forgot, and something is burning, they forgot to put their mittens on.
Yes.
So those are the things. And also some cases of fall. Because sometimes you get water spillage or any form of liquid spilling on the floor. They don't clean it immediately, so it can cause fall. And sometimes because you're doing a lot of things, you're doing multitasking. So you tend to ignore those little things that even professional chefs cooks would even experience during this time of the year.
Yes, actually, do you see when you see kitchen injuries, do they mostly come also from restaurants or
Yeah,
places, sir, mostly
mostly
not
from the hotels, mostly from the big caterers or mostly employees of those
yeah.
caterers or even chefs or cooks,
Mhm.
mostly from the restaurants.
Yeah. So maybe we
Mm.
might be eating a little bit of their blood in our food. I'm just no, but it really it is a time na because you're very busy and you're multitasking. And like,
Yes,
if you spill something on the floor, water, something from the soup, sometimes even if there's a team of you working in there, you can't mop it up. That
yes,
happens. Like it's accidents that happen. So I guess we would caution the audience and remind people to just be a little more careful, or maybe sometimes you get stressed also when you're serving. And when
yes,
you're
true.
preparing, so you're rushing around with this knife in your hand, or, running to the sink or something like that, and it happens. Do you also see cases where it happens at home?
Yes. You also
Mhm.
see cases from home. So this happens when the kitchen is not organized.
Mhm.
Sometimes for elderly patients who
Yes.
are really, I mean, that their function, their
Yeah.
movement is already sometimes impaired already. Sometimes for those who are not used to doing things, that are trying new things right now. Some of some would be new bakers now and new
Yeah.
cooks right now, really not professional, handling the tools incorrectly, putting the tools in a different place. So I would
Yes.
like to advise that for those types, you have to plan and organize things in the kitchen. Okay,
Thank you, doctor, for saying
so
that. Yes.
yeah, it's a managing the table. So plan, put the sharps and all those equipment on one place, all those things that you have to cut in one place,
Mhm.
and then make sure you follow the clay go system of the restaurants. So clean as you go
Clean as you go. Yes.
system.
Thank you, doctor. That's so informative. And who would imagine we'd be talking about food and cooking with a doctor who manages the emergency room, right? And about holiday emergencies, right?
Yeah,
So,
they say that emergency doctors are a jack of all trades, so we're also cooks.
yes, you are, you are. And I mean, I'm glad you pointed out that some patients are elderly or maybe somehow impaired, but it's that special time of the year, so they'll come, they'll go to the kitchen. Maybe they don't
Kitchen.
cook all the time, right? And it's somebody else cooking all the time, but they'll
Yes,
prepare the specialties, and it's fun for them. But for
yes,
those who live with them, this is my reminder also, like following, kind of jumping off what doctor said, to keep it organized. Maybe you could help by keeping it organized for them or assist them, because if they used to keep things in a certain place and you changed it, I hate that, doctor. Sorry. I hate that when you keep changing, diba? You're like,
true.
where is it? Where is it? Then, they will have to open drawers for themselves, and then maybe they used to keep something else there. And as doctor said, keep all the sharp tools in one place. Suddenly you shove in a knife there, be more organized. That would help. And especially if they're not always in the kitchen doing stuff. And the other thing is, you said, like, those who are not used to it, um,
Yeah.
anymore, or this is the time of the year that we're gonna cook. We may not
Yeah.
be older or impaired, but yeah, so that's my excuse for not cooking anything this holiday season. Okay, I don't want to be like I know what you mean. A lot of people are
Yeah.
more into cooking now, which is good,
Yes.
and into baking and
Yes.
preparing food. But always be careful, and try to stay organized. And as you said, clean as you go. Yeah, I have people here who are really angry about the clean as you go stuff. So I'm happy you said that. Okay.
It might happen would be, or I mean, the incidents that it might happen is increased now. So
Ah,
it can, because of a lot of people. I mean, right now, because we are like celebrating already. A lot of
yes.
caterers are very busy compared before.
Yes.
So and then these new caterers are, I mean, they have new staff.
Yeah.
So yeah, fire accidents, burn accidents do happen.
Yeah. I did just a word of my personal word of a reminder is, like, I think people should also watch the kind of clothes they wear. like maybe not long sleeve since it's hot here anyway, and like, cotton better
Yeah.
than like the exercise type of clothing material that probably catches fire quicker and then it's on your body and then
Yes.
so anyway, doctor,
Okay.
and audience, we're gonna get to so much more when it comes to emergency room injuries and how to prevent them, and like what types, or like what doctor sees in the ER, what they see in the ER at this time of the year. But we just have to take a short break before we get to that. So stay tuned to Healthline with Makati Med.
You're listening to DZRJ 810 AM. We'll be right back after these reminders.
Hi, this is Dr. Jacinto from Makati Medical Center, and I'm happy to share that our world-class quality healthcare with the heart is now more accessible and affordable at Makati Med Care Access, Araneta City. What's more, Makati Med Care Access is the only single-use hemodialysis center in Araneta City. It's now easier for patients to avail of renal care services right in the heart of Cubao. We offer health screening and diagnostic procedures in this facility at affordable rates. You can get services such as mammogram, ultrasound, lab procedures, ECG, and many others. We believe that access to affordable, quality, and compassionate healthcare is a basic human right. And we at Makati Med Care Access Araneta City are doing our best to make this possible to more people. You can find us at the ground floor of Manhattan Plaza Tower 1 in Araneta Center, Cubao. We are open from Mondays to Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sundays from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. For inquiries, you may reach out to us at the numbers below. We look forward to serving you here at Makati Med Care Access, Araneta City.
You're back with Healthline, keeping you healthy. Moderated by Nicole Jacinto.
Hey, welcome back to Healthline with Makati Med. I'm your host, Nicole Jacinto. We are here with Dr. 𝗛𝗶𝗶 III, the famous third.
Not really.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Well, I'm the fourth kid, so. But I'm, oh, yeah, named after you, Daddy. Okay. All right. So, doctor, at this time of the year, we've talked about like kitchen accidents, and you really spelled out for us like how it happens, and basically rushing around, not being able to be as focused or as cautious as usual. And when it comes to, let's talk about food poisoning. Food poisoning, yes, food poisoning, or any kind of, like you did mention earlier, you see more like people come into the ER with stomach problems. How can you talk about that a little bit more?
Okay. So because of, we have a lot of celebrations, and food preparation is being done early. Especially if you're preparing for 200 or 300 participants, and you expect those caterers will be preparing this food early in the morning, and then presenting the food during the night. So we see a lot of those spoilage of food during this time of the year, and especially for food poisoning or any food-related concerns. This is basically due to the preparation.
Yeah.
So important thing, let's go first to those who are just eating and not preparing the food.
Okay.
So for those who are just eating and consuming food from caterers or from the ones we buy outside, make sure that we check the food first. the temperature of the food, how long the food stayed in the table from the kitchen or from the restaurant to your office, and then make sure that if you will eat the food later, put it in a refrigerator first, or I mean a cold environment, and then check for the food, especially those with tomato-based products, dairy products, non-pasteurized milk, and then chicken and raw food. So be particular about those food, because they can those are the things that can usually lead to food poisoning, the vomiting and diarrhea for patients.
Yes, doctor. You mentioned chicken, of course, the dairy, because the milk can spoil, and then unless they're telling you it's milk and it's actually like cement or something. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding. But no, really, it's as you mentioned, as someone who consumes, those who eat, and you do, you go to a party or you order it and it's catered. I guess, sometimes people think that certain people are too much when they ask a lot of questions, but it's all right. It's your right to ask, like, how long did you leave this out? What time will you be cooking it? What time will it get here? Is your delivery truck refrigerated? Because what if it spent 10 hours on the road,
Correct.
and then we don't have cold temperatures here enough to kind of, combat that spoilage. And then also, once you get it, like you said, check the temperature of the food. I mean, if it's burning hot when it gets to you, and it was like it's just been on since early this morning, it's not like a fresh delivery. Especially something like we have in our cuisine also things like lumpia ubod, or things like that. Like so, check that. And if you're already like your stomach is sensitive, maybe avoid that. And then you did mention so you mentioned dairy and the raw food. Obviously, like I mean, a lot of people would want to eat like sushi or sashimi, but I wouldn't recommend it if cater this time of the year, simply because of the preparation that you were talking about. Why chicken, doctor?
As a chicken, if you do not prepare the chicken well, and it can be contaminated with salmonella, so it can cause a salmonella infection. Even eggs, egg products. So you have to make sure that this chicken and eggs came from a reputable source, not contaminated by salmonella. And then when they handle the chicken, it is cleaned well and cooked well. So
no bloody,
no blood.
But okay, some people will say, but it's cooked anyway. Doesn't that kill the salmonella? What's your answer?
There's a certain temperature, specific temperature, the bacteria is killed during cooking. So you have to take that internal temperature. So not all the salmonella bacteria is killed by just cooking it. There's a certain temperature that you have to reach.
So, doctor, okay, I've seen this a lot. Like even like when I was growing up, like there's chicken that's served to you and it wasn't cooked well. Maybe not on purpose, but you see the bloody part, right?
Yeah.
Is that already? Should you not eat that? Or because I've seen it like go back to the kitchen and cook it more. I mean,
for me, I advise if there's still blood. I mean, you can really see blood and not just the pinkish skin. I mean, flesh. If it's really blood, stop eating it and just get another serving.
Just get another serving. Okay, that's great advice, doctor. Because I think as Filipinos, we're used to, sige, just, cook it a bit more. But with the salmonella, as you said, it has to be cooked at a certain temperature. It can't just be that it was dipped there or cooked there, as well as eggs. Now, if the egg is like a hard-boiled egg or cooked like that, that's health. I mean, not healthier, safer.
Yeah, that's safe. The salmonella contamination is in the raw egg when you prepare it. So if there's some, poo in the egg, not clean shell, so that's the contaminant.
So if you're gonna have sukyak, your mixed raw egg with whatever you're doing, maybe you just use your egg at home.
Yeah.
At this time of the year, at least. Okay. All right. Thanks. That's great, doctor. That's good information. How about like okay, so there's vomiting and diarrhea from food poisoning. How about people who don't exactly have food poisoning, but they get a lot of stomach aches?
Yeah.
And like, it was an
So
unbearable stomach ache
yeah,
during this time of the year. What do you
it's
use?
it's basically not eating the right food, or the food that is not good for you, eating a lot of oily food, a lot of fatty food. Filipino dish
Yes.
is mostly fat, or I mean mostly fried. So if you have a very sensitive stomach, you can easily have hyperacidity. You have to avoid drinking a lot of sodas, caffeine, alcohol.
Yeah.
And then, of course, eat in moderation, because your stomach can only accommodate a certain amount of food. Don't eat with your eyes. Eat.
Yes. But some of us do. No, a lot of us have the tendency to overeat during the holidays. And I mean, sometimes I'm amazed that even what I myself consume, like, okay, I just had that this morning. Like, I'll get a stomach ache, and I'm like, well, because you ate this for breakfast, or you didn't eat breakfast at all, and then your lunch was late, and then you had this and that, and then, oh my God, and then I mixed, and then I had the cake, so I mixed the sweets. Like, wow, there must be a rumble going on. So, and during the holidays, that does happen more often. It's good to
True.
celebrate.
And also some food allergies. Some people don't know that they are allergic to those food. They tried this pastry or something prepared by another friend. It's the
Mm.
first time. So, and then you don't know that your body cannot tolerate that. That is another cause for diarrhea, not just an infection.
Yes.
Allergy is one of those.
Doctor, I'd like to focus on that a little bit more, because I think a lot of people have a misconception of how dangerous allergies can really be. And now that it's the holiday season, and we've had so much traffic in the days past, and there will still be traffic. Like, it's harder to get to the hospital even as time
Yeah.
coming, and people are like, no, I'm avoiding it. I'll just, everyone's ready to pull out, here, take this antihistamine here. But as you said, no, sometimes because you're attending parties or whatever, it's a friend who prepared it, but they didn't realize that maybe you're allergic to eggs or nuts or something.
Yes. Correct.
And as you said, like, it can cause diarrhea and even vomiting. But I'm more worried about also, like, anaphylaxis.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. For those who have a previous history of allergy, and then, for example, even the most dangerous is nuts, so it can easily lead to anaphylaxis. So it's very important that, number one, you are prepared. If you can have an which is hard to avail in the Philippines. So have it. I mean, go to your allergist first, and take the prescription for EpiPen. If not, please have some antihistamines with you always, so that you can have a medication to take when you feel the first signs of allergies. Those starting itchiness, and then the rashes started to go around, and then you feel that there's something in your throat,
Yeah.
and then something plugging up. Take the antihistamine already and go to the hospital. Don't
Yes.
wait for you to have the full-blown anaphylaxis, full-blown shortness of breath,
Yeah.
especially if you have known allergies with food.
Thank you, Doctor, for reminding our listeners and viewers out there, for reminding the audience. And it might be a case of where, I don't want to go because it's Christmas, but you're gonna end up there
Yes.
anyway. So go as soon as you can. Take the antihistamine and go as soon as you can. Just like, you don't have to answer this question if you're not comfortable answering it, but all around best, safest, like, if you're in a situation, what antihistamine would you recommend? Not a brand name, just the
Any antihistamine that you are aware of? I mean, most of us naman have previous prescriptions of antihistamine, but those are available in the country would be loratadine, cetirizine, diphenhydramine, new medications like bilastine. Those are the antihistamines that you can take.
Okay. I am most like in an emergency situation, I'm most just personally, like, geared towards take the diphenhydramine, because it can mix with the other stuff there when you
Yeah.
get to the hospital. Or sometimes people will have, hey, don't forget to fill your prescriptions, talking to allergy people now.
Yeah.
Like, or get it over the counter. There are like sometimes allergy doctors will have recommended like prednisone for an extreme case or something like that. No, I guess we should all go around with our medicines ready,
Yeah,
but also not over medicate.
yeah, true. Just be aware that try to avoid prednisone or steroid on the first part. Okay,
Yes, yes.
only that is only the antihistamines.
Only the yeah, because you might give steroids in the hospital also.
Yeah,
Actually, if you have been given prednisone, I'm sure these are the people who have had issues with allergies and they're kind of
well,
more aware of dealing with it.
yes,
But like, don't give it to your fellow. Like, oh my God, here,
yes,
throw it in, shoot it into their mouths. Okay,
that's true.
doctor. Let's talk about trips and traveling during this time of the year. And maybe even if you're a healthy individual, what kind of precautions should we take? Or do you see any like cases maybe where when they travel, whether it's they traveled here or they were traveling around and they got back, or even just travel in the car,
Yeah.
for longer trips. Do you see any issues arise, or do you have any like anything to say about that, or any kind of advice or precautions that you wanna?
Yeah, definitely. I also work in another hospital. We're near the airport, or even Makati Med. We see a lot of travelers coming from other countries during this time of the year, and many Filipinos coming from the States are coming back here. Most of them are the ones with chronic illnesses. Those who have maintenance medications. Please do prepare your maintenance medications and have an adequate supply of your medications before traveling to any destination. It may be outside of the country or going inside the Philippines, because you don't know if that medication is available in this country. Okay, so always be prepared. Prepare all your maintenance medications. So, and then if you really need to travel, go ahead. But if your doctor would not clear you from traveling, please do follow the doctor, because it's you rather celebrate healthy than celebrate unhealthy. Okay,
Yeah.
but for those who are healthy enough, I advise them to carry a bit of I call my personal first aid kit. Okay, so I have a medication for my headache or fever, even a medication for diarrhea, rehydration salt, or you can have some sports drinks and ice compress, some gauze or some bandages, so that you are prepared for any form of emergency, because you don't know what might happen. Your car might break, and then you want to fix your tire, and you don't know how to fix the tire. Then you suddenly have an accident. You have something to clean your injuries. Okay.
Yeah. And or your radiator might it's just issues I remember with my cars growing up, like, the radiator overheated again, but boom, the water comes out, and it'll scald you. It can scald you.
Yep.
Anything like that. Anything. Or nowadays a car seems to get more complicated. You just pop it up and then you're like, oh, my finger got stuck. It's still, still
True.
something if you're traveling by car. And as you said, when we travel, whether people are coming to the Philippines or Manila in particular, because those are the patients that you see most often, or actually even going, let me finish
Outside.
this thought first. Yeah, outside. Bring your medicines and the first aid kit that Dr. Flores has discussed with us, like just something to clean,
Yeah.
some gauze, medicine for headache, medicine for
Diarrhea, dizziness.
yes,
Um,
dizziness. And also you made a really good point about you don't know if that medication will be available there. So please bring extra medication or enough for your stay. And I would suggest a little bit extra, because also traveling holidays, flights get canceled, delayed, moved, you're stressed out, whatever it is. And sometimes in other places you need prescriptions, when here you don't. And
yes, correct.
sometimes you don't need prescriptions there, and here you do.
Yes, that's
And
correct.
yeah, and maybe traveling also even to other provinces or areas within the Philippines, they don't always have stock of that medication. So,
Correct.
okay, did you hear that drugstore companies and merchants, they're always like, I don't know, some of them have gotten so like, why do you need more? Well, why you're there to sell? That isn't the prescription. Like, because people want to be prepared over the holidays. Then, as you can say, may hugot ako doon kasi ang arte-arte. Tapos, kasi nga, magbabiyahe, kailangan ng extra. Thank you.
That's
Yeah, okay.
I usually bring, I mean, for myself, for my maintenance, I usually bring 1 week supply, additional 1 week supply, because you don't know if you will be stuck in that country.
Yes, exactly. Ay, nako, did you hear that? Retail outlets of, as you can tell, I've gotten into a bit of, one of them, like, I don't know why you're asking, Anyway, I don't want to be masungit on Christmas Day. Okay, doctor, we're gonna talk more about stuff like how the alcohol consumption and other things. We've talked about food now, just food as people who consume it, and you touched a bit on those who prepare it. We'll talk about alcohol consumption, and don't go away. We'll be right back. And it's not just like, it's not just alcohol stuff. It's other types of emergencies, and don't be sensitive. A lot of people are having a drink or two this time of the year, but there are things you should know about that. And Dr. Flores is here to help because he's seen a lot of patients. Okay, so during this time of the year, in particular, with a lot of issues, and maybe we can also like declog. If we can avoid some of these things, it can be declogged, so that if you're there for an emergency, you won't also be shouting at each other and other patients like, I need to go first. But you have a triage system for that anyway. But okay, folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're just going to take a short break.
You're listening to DZRJ 810 AM. We'll be right back after these reminders.
Hi, this is Dr. Jacinto from Makati Medical Center, and I'm happy to share that our world-class quality healthcare with the heart is now more accessible and affordable through Makati Med Care Access at 𝗛𝗶𝘁𝗵𝗹. Available for outpatient care services, our 𝗛𝗶𝘁𝗵𝗹 site offers consultation and diagnostic procedures such as medical assistance, hospital admission assistance, blood pressure monitoring, laboratory tests, and X-ray, among others. This is really convenient for those residing in Makati and nearby areas who do not want to go to the hospital to have these treatments and procedures done. We believe that access to excellent quality and compassionate healthcare is a basic human right, and we at Makati Med 𝗛𝗶𝘁𝗵𝗹 are doing our best to make this possible to more people. We are open from Monday to Saturday at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the 3rd floor of 𝗛𝗶𝘁𝗵𝗹 in Makati City. For inquiries, you may reach us at these numbers. We look forward to serving you here at Makati Med Care Access 𝗛𝗶𝘁𝗵𝗹.
You're back with Healthline, keeping you healthy. Moderated by Nicole Jacinto.
Okay, welcome back to Healthline with Makati Med. I'm your host, Nicole Jacinto. We are still here with Dr. Flores. Merry Christmas to everyone. Anyone you want to greet?
my family, my mom, Jojo, my brother, John Paul, my sister Claire, and my brother-in-law Eric and Myrna.
Okay.
And also my friend.
All right. And I'd like to greet you, doctor, and all of the people who work in the emergency room, and all of the people who work on Christmas Day. Especially when it comes to services like medicine, medical services, even retail stores where you need to buy last minute things. Even bandages or band-aids, and people who deliver, people who drive. And of course, people in radio and TV.
Yes.
There's never a break for media. And thank you everyone for, being of service to us during this time of the year. All right. So, doctor, let's go back to talking about, what types of cases or injuries or, patients you see in the emergency room during the holidays. And one of them is uh, related to alcohol consumption. Do you see a lot of cases when it comes to excessive drinking or maybe even partial drinking, not even excessive?
Yeah.
Could you talk a bit more about?
Definitely, we have a lot of alcohol-related complaints. So I did not mention intoxication because, as you mentioned, sometimes it's just a little bit intake of alcohol. There's an adverse reaction to that. So that's why we call it an alcohol intake-related complaints. So some of the alcohol-related symptoms for those who are not into drinking alcohol or cannot tolerate alcohol would be abdominal pains, even some form of allergic reaction, shortness of breath, rashes. So those are the things that they might experience. So for those patients, you really have to go to the emergency department because our dictum is we do not blame it to the alcohol until we have proven it's not from other illness. Okay.
Don't worry, don't feel judged. If you have
Yes.
to go. Yeah.
Yeah. So because it's sometimes it's not really the alcohol, but it really because of the stress of the situation, a heart attack can happen anytime. So not because you just took a sip of, a bottle of wine and then you had a chest pain, you will say, oh, probably it's just a wine that's causing the chest pain. So still go to the hospital because it might be a different thing. Okay. But for those who are taking alcohol, occasionally, you have to know your tolerance with alcohol. Okay. I'm guilty of this. I've been attending parties for a bit, almost every day. So try to know your tolerance and the limits of alcohol. And when you're consuming alcohol, remember to rehydrate. Okay.
Yes.
So because alcohol can cause dehydration, so rehydrate with water or electrolyte solution. Okay. So and then pace your drinking. And I don't want to be cliche in drink in moderation, okay?
Yeah.
But really, it's really drink in moderation and drink responsibly, okay? So we cannot overemphasize that it's okay to drink, but not too much, not to the point that you will cause an injury to yourself. Okay.
Yes, doctor. I'd like to emphasize a little bit more what you said, which is like for some people, this is what I took from it. You don't drink during the year and then holidays come around. I've seen this happen a number of times and, sige na, have a sip, we're just toasting. Or maybe that's the first time somebody has had alcohol and you don't realize that you have an intolerance to it. And then you're more hesitant to see a doctor because, it's Christmas or, it's a celebration. But I have seen like people like, even if they used to drink before, but, they just for some reason or another, doesn't really, they stop, they don't drink that often. And then we have peer pressure, even into our older years, we get peer pressure. Sige na, sometimes it's all in good fun or jest, but I've seen like, just like 2 sips and like, oh my God, I feel drunk. And this the person smells like alcohol and starts complaining. So okay, stop. How do we sober you up? But it's a very uncomfortable feeling. So it's not like I'm anti-alcohol. God knows I can drink. But it's just don't get pressure, don't do it.
Yes.
And the other part of that, what you said is like, you may have had a bottle of wine and you're like, oh yeah, I'm sort of like feeling hot or my chest hurts, something like that. My stomach's a bit uncomfortable. It's probably the wine I have. But if you're feeling that it's kind of different, don't just blame it on the alcohol. As you said, a lot of people during this time of the year, it could be a heart exhausting already. And it's not
Yeah.
just alcohol that did it, it's the stress, it's the other food they ate, it's the activities, it's the staying up late and waking up early,
Everything. Yeah, everything.
everything put together. So just like pace yourself, as you said, and pace your drinking. And my advice to you as a former professional drinker is double fist it. One of alcohol, one of water.
Water, yeah. True.
That doesn't work all the time. Like you might not feel like drinking it. Chase it with this is just my advice. Okay. The doctor is not condoning this. As I said, I'm being open today. It's Christmas. As a former professional drinker, I'll tell you about that joke more. Double fist it, especially if it's wine and it's hot in this country. The you don't feel the same hit of wine. It doesn't hit you the same way. Yes, or
Yes.
anywhere else where it's cooler.
Yeah.
So it's really like bleh. It ends up feeling like it's vinegary, and I'm very picky pa naman with the ano. But you double fist it. I think with wine it's best to double fist it. With beer, you can take breaks, still drink water, though in between.
Yes.
With other drinks like scotch, gin, and everything else, it may not feel like it's like when you're drinking, like it's a good ratio to like one-on-one it. I mean, the way you feel when you're drinking that, no. But
Yes.
then and use a chaser. Ang sama ko na. I'm just giving you, I'm not promoting drinking. I'm just saying, use a chaser, drink something sweet, substitute one drink for a soda. In between, yeah, it's not great to drink sodas, but if you're gonna have 10 shots of scotch, 10 double scotches or something, if you replace a few of those shots with a soda, a few of those glasses with a soda, it's still gonna help you. Because people are like, yeah, I'll drink water and scotch. Yeah, ganon. Sometimes you get that. So anyway, that's
Yeah.
like, please don't like use that as an excuse. I'm just giving from my personal experience. A dehydration, doctor. Okay.
Yes.
That can happen from drinking. And can it also mess with your potassium levels and then lead to a potential heart problem?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. It will be a cascade. If we go now to alcohol intoxication, when your alcohol level is too much, then it will be a cascade of events. You'll be dehydrated, you're pushing a lot of fluid outside, and you will have an electrolyte imbalance. And that electrolyte imbalance, you said potassium, can cause problems in the contractility or the of your heart or the rhythm of your heart, and it can trigger a heart attack for severe case. Okay.
Yes.
So really the intoxication part of it. Yeah.
Have you ever seen any alcohol-related injuries in your ER? Do you still see them as often where, people are less inhibited and then they like get angry and like, do you
Yeah.
get fights? Yeah? You still
Yeah,
see?
yeah. But because when you drink alcohol, it has an effect on your cognition, okay, on your behavior. It really targets your brain. So some of those who are drunk, they're really drunk. They
Yeah.
don't know what they're doing. They're saying a lot of things. They want to fight you. They would even punch you. So we know how to handle those. So we are trained to handle those
You get-
cases.
Do you sometimes get like the same people who are in the same fight in the making chief miss here, but it's interesting.
I had some episode, but not during the holidays.
Magic Holidays. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're treating both of them and they're still I can't blame some people. Sometimes it's stuff that, is really there. Sometimes the person is just a jerk. But it just so happens that it gives them more like, the liquid courage. It gives them more it brings out either the real personality or it does change some people's personalities. Like they're really cool, happy people. Then when they're intoxicated up to a certain level, it's just like "Rah!" Because whatever whatever it is that's inside that's upsetting them, it comes out and gets directed towards someone else.
Very true, very true.
Been guilty of that.
Anyway, we knock them with medications.
Although yes, I never start a fight, but I do finish them. And on that note, we're just going to take a short break and we'll be right back with more information from Dr. Flores. Stay tuned, folks. This is Healthline with Makati Med. Okay, welcome back to Outline with Makati Med. I'm your host, Nicole Jacinto. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Dr. Flores.
Merry Christmas again.
You know, Mamacita. Hi, Mommy.
I,
I'm
I,
like Santa Claus. I
I like
actually
that.
always knew that there was never a Santa Claus. I always it was my mom giving the gifts and stuff. But I still try to force myself to believe, you know. And
Mm,
just yeah.
I wish I didn't know when I was just 8 years old, so I could have gifts till 12.
Till 12. Yeah. Why they stopped coming once you knew?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I always knew it was my mom. Yeah. Sorry, mommy. I know you did your best. Also, daddy. But I kind of always knew. Then I was like, how can the reindeer fly around in one night? And parang, how come the reindeer, like, you know, are you
Yeah.
sure they don't just do that in cold countries? You know, but
Advice for kids, even if you know, just pretend you don't know
yes.
until you're 18.
Until you're 18. Until you're 40, pwede.
Just kidding.
But this is a spirit of giving and being generous. And it's a time for children children like myself to celebrate. And it's okay, yeah. And then I got this complex of wanting to be Santa Claus. But not literally, but not, but as I said this year, I'm not gonna go out and do it to avoid more stress during the holidays, and so that Dr. Flores doesn't see a stressful me in his emergency room. Hopefully, knock on wood. Na,
I
I'm
would welcome you
afraid.
anytime.
Okay, so Doctor, this time of the year we have to discuss firecrackers and firecracker related injuries. Can you tell us a little bit more about this and what kind of cases you see in the emergency room?
There are good news and bad news about firecracker injuries. And the good news is that we really saw a decline in the numbers of firecracker injuries for the last 5 years. Although last year it went up a little bit more than the previous year, this is because a lot of people would like to celebrate, go back to the previous thing. So the numbers are small compared to the previous year. So it's just in the 300s. Okay. So that's very small. So, and then the types of injuries also different now. So right now we are seeing more of the aerial type of fire displays, not anymore on the papotok or the mga hinahawakan. Those are the things that we handle. Okay. So most of the time we have those, the 15-minute fireworks display. So most of the injuries, still the number one injury would be hand injuries because of accidental handling, mishandling of firecrackers or even fountains or wands or whatever you call them. And then second is the legs or feet. For those who are accidentally the fireworks display went to that extremity. The second area is the head because of it's an aerial display, and then the fourth the eyes. Okay, so because you're looking at the fireworks, you're not in a very safe distance, and there are falling debris. Okay. Definitely what goes up will go down. And lastly, for those asthmatic patients, a lot of respiratory illnesses during the December 31 celebration.
Yes, I mean, so there's some good news in terms of the injuries from firecracker related injuries going down. Last year it went up a little bit because people really wanted to like kind of go all out and celebrate. You said it's mostly and I agree with you that it's mostly like fireworks displays these days. And I mean, if you don't, people are maybe like, okay, we don't have to buy our own and make our own noise here. Although I wish some of our neighbors would Okay, I don't want to be masong Italiano.
But the real lesson, I mean, the people who are preparing the fireworks, most of us really just watch now.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's a lot cheaper to watch. It's
Yeah.
safer, and
Safer.
it's more enjoyable to watch
It's more
them.
chill. It's a
Yeah,
profession. I mean, it's a more professionally done way of
yeah,
seeing, of seeing all the beautiful, like, I don't know how they time it.
yes,
What the displays are just beautiful, and but people still get injured because if you're too near, one is the eye, which I think is so important. Like,
yes.
in terms of the eyes, okay, can I ask you, when should someone, let's say, as you said, there's falling debris or maybe even some kind of lit thing there that
Yes.
will, because you're too close to the display or you're in an area where it happened to fall on. If you get hit in the eye or near your eye, can you tell us how we should decide whether we definitely have to go to the ER for this, or
Eventually, yeah.
yeah, or not,
Yeah.
when it comes to the eyes first?
So first thing is prevention. So if you want to watch aerial displays, I would suggest for those who are not wearing glasses like us,
Yes.
if you can use protective goggles, much better. And
Okay.
then find a suitable place. I mean the distance, because you cannot enjoy a firework display very near the firework display.
You have to go like,
So yeah, if you are really like doing that, definitely you're very near, and definitely the possibility of having an eye injury is higher. Okay, but if the accident happened and then you feel something went into your eye, do not scratch your eye. Do not touch it. Okay, try to avoid. If you have some kids,
yeah.
so if you're the parent, prevent them from scratching their eyes and put something to cover for them to prevent them from scratching it. Okay. The second thing that you have to do is flush it with running water. It's okay. So about 5 to 10 minutes of flushing with running water, so that you will remove most of the time it's still burning. So you remove the debris in the eyes. And definitely, because it's in the eyes, we have to go to the emergency room so that an ophthalmologist can see you and examine the injury. Okay.
Okay. So I'll just
Want to be blind in the next year.
I'll just go through the steps again to remind our viewers. First, don't scratch it. Okay, if it's you, and if you have kids who get any type of debris in their eye, just better to be safe than sorry. Don't let them touch it. I mean, they tape their hands. I don't know. And then flush the eye with running water for about 10 minutes, and then you have to go to the ER or a doctor because it's the eye, very sensitive thing, and you don't want to, oh, sige, tomorrow na lang, ganun, or no, it doesn't hurt anyway. It's not a good idea because you might get an injury that you can't reverse in the time that you spend
You
hesitating.
may have a deeper ulceration in the cornea, or so it's much better to have a consult for the eyes.
Better to be safe talaga than sorry when it comes to the eyes. As for the feet, no, the legs and the feet, is that because like there are still some firecrackers that are thrown, or even an aerial display can be, or
Sometimes some aerial display can go wayward, Sometimes instead of going up, they will go to the sides.
yes,
So those are the form. And sometimes the sparkles of those even fountains will reach the lower extremity. So those are the common injuries. Fortunately enough, for the lower extremity injuries, these are mostly very superficial burns, because these are just injuries that is incidental.
yes,
Not really like the ones in the hand, because in the hand it's really a very destructive, or the injury is severe because the firework blew in your hand. So most of the time.
And then maybe if you're the one preparing the firecrackers, don't stand beside the pile of, you know how we tend to pile firecrackers in one area while we're waiting before we use them. Don't stand beside it, because if you just light one or one gets lit accidentally, the whole thing explodes, and well, that'll affect your feet and everything else basically. But still, I mean, because you're standing there, your feet are right beside it, that kind of thing.
Correct.
Oh, my brain just goes there. And then also, okay, let's talk about the head before we talk about the hats, doctor. What are you seeing more head injuries now due to firecrackers because of aerial displays, or has it always been like that? I mean, has the head always been affected?
The head has been always been affected even before. It's in the most common areas.
Hmm.
Again, because most of the firecrackers or firework, I don't know what they call them. Even the fountains, we have those previous fountains. The trajectory sometimes go wayward, and it hits your head, your face. You will have some burn in your face, not necessarily the eyes, but other parts of your face.
Yeah,
So
because you might be able to like instinctively block it and your eyes, but there's still other parts that of your head that get hit. Have you ever seen anyone like whose hair has got burned
yeah, as well.
up to the scalp?
Not I haven't seen that, but I've heard. I mean, those even professional handlers of pyrotechnics sometimes they have accidents,
Yeah.
So those are the extreme firecracker related incidents. Those professionals not with an accident.
And now we go to the hands. Okay,
The most
let's talk
dangerous.
about the hands, the famous hands, hand injuries that come along with the use of firecrackers.
True. Yeah. First of all, before it's really the most common because we really use the firecrackers, and then when you're intoxicated, you don't know when to throw it off. So right now it's mostly accidental. Those who are we pick in the streets or when we're cleaning. Sometimes it happens when the people cleaning around in the morning, and then the fireworks are still. I mean, there's still a little bit of spark, and there's still gunpowder. Sometimes still spark. So it depends on the degree of the explosion, the degree of the injury would be. Okay, so the deeper the injury is more on the big firecrackers, which still there available in Bulacan. So, but very few now. Okay, most of the hand injuries now are just superficial ones. But still, just to tell everyone not to handle those things, you can still have an injury, a superficial injury that can lead to an infection, that can lead to cutting of your finger.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so in that sense, okay. If you get hurt on your hand and you're like, oh, well, my finger's still there, so it's okay. Because before, just thinking about it, a lot of people would lose their fingers, right? And parts of their hand just because of the firecracker and the poor quality. When everyone still used to light them themselves, and the old types, this is showing my age, but really there was Triangulo, one of the worst. I refused to light that.
Piccolo or whatever.
And there was like that, is it 𝗶𝗶𝗁, and then there, my favorite lang that was the 𝗶𝗶𝗁 because you scratch.
𝗶𝗶𝗁.
And it's kind of harmless, diba? Of course, don't do.
Oh, it's not harmless. No.
Yeah, it's not harmless. What if it sparks and then goes to the big pile, bang, and then so. In terms of like, if you get injured on your hand during a firecracker incident, when do you determine that I have to go to the ER, or what can you do? What are the steps?
Okay. As a victim of firecracker incident when I was younger, so I had experience of doing something that is bad in managing the burn. Okay, so when you have the first thing that you have to do when you have a firecracker accident is just to be calm first. Okay, don't be be nervous about it. Be calm. Focus your mind. Think that you have to clean the wound first. So you have to clean the wound or the burn in a running water. Okay, running water because you want to kill the burning process. Okay, so you put your hand in the running water about 5 to 10 minutes or until you don't feel the burn anymore. Okay, so after that, clean it. Make sure that you have no debris left on the skin, and then if you have burnt ointments available, do place some burn ointment. Please do avoid putting anything our grandmothers told us
Butter.
before, like butter, toothpaste,
Oh my,
tomatoes,
my
kamatis.
God, really?
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah, because it decreases the burning process. The tomato.
ah,
Yeah.
it
In the
does.
province, they do that.
Yeah.
So just clean it. Don't contaminate the burn. Okay, and then don't use ice water or don't put ice
Don't put.
because because putting ice will also burn your skin. Okay,
Mhm.
so extreme temperatures, hot and cold, will burn your skin. Okay, so and then it will go deeper. Okay, and once you clean the wound, then you should wrap it with a clean cloth if you don't have any gauze or clean towel.
Yeah.
Okay, so before wrapping it, try to assess the wound. Okay, if the wound or if the burn is just like a sunburn, it's just a redness or an erythema. Okay, and painful to the touch. This is just a minor burn that you can manage at home first. Okay, put some burn ointment. Okay, uh, see if there are some blister formation. If there are some blister formation already, it's a second-degree burn. You can still manage it at home. Initially, if you cannot go to the emergency room immediately, you can go the next day for this one. But if the wound is deep, you can see some muscles or even some bones. You have to go immediately to the hospital because the degree of the burn and the injury is deeper. Okay.
It already burned through the layers of skin.
Yes.
And
And
that
then,
must
and
not,
if you don't feel anything,
yes,
because in third-degree burn, you don't feel anything anymore.
yes. And some people might say, oh, yeah, I can see the bone, pero it doesn't hurt naman eh. No, it's actually worse.
Yeah.
Yung infections, you cannot feel kasi nasunog na, natanggal na yung mga nerve endings doon.
Yes.
So it's okay. So if it looks like a first degree burn, again, put under running water.
Water.
You know, it's that is a way of cleaning it and
And also removing the burning process. You're cooling it.
cooling
You're
it.
cooling the skin.
Yeah, kasi it needs to burn, no?
Yeah. Para kasi pag nagluluto, di ba, when we cook,
Oo.
the longer you put something in the hot environment, it cooks further. So we're trying to remove the burning process through the running water. But the misconception is using ice water or even ice. When I was a child, I used ice. So what happened? It went to a second degree from a first degree burn.
Okay. I'm glad you recovered from that, doctor.
Yeah.
And to become an emergency room doctor, that's really wonderful. And okay, doctor, in terms of like, do you have anything else you'd like to say? Because we are actually running out of time. In terms of the emergency room, or any reminders to people, or just anything that you did like to, any message?
Yeah. I just have a simple reminder that the holidays is basically trying to celebrate with the family, and we want to celebrate with the family that we are healthy, not just physically but mentally and emotionally. So for preparation, we can celebrate. There's no harm in celebration. For me, I would like to recommend a simpler celebration. Try to prepare food that is healthy or healthier than usual, than what we are used to, because even healthy food is tasty and
Yes.
sumptuous. The important thing is we are celebrating the event with the family, with the company of our family. Again, if you're drinking alcohol, drink in moderation or responsibly. If you can avoid alcohol, please do so. And then be prepared for any accidents or incidents in the family. And once any accident or any form of a medical emergency happens, just be calm, don't panic. And then we have some lines that you can call for emergencies. For ambulances, you can call the hotline ambulances, and you can call Makati Med number for some consults. If you want to know if you have to go to the hospital, you can call Makati Med hotline for this one. And of course, our ER is open 24/7 for any emergency, and we will welcome you anytime.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you for being with us today on the program. I wish you and your family, I know it's important to you, as you mentioned, love on this day. And just thank you so much for being on the show. And to the viewers and the listeners, Merry Christmas. Doesn't matter what religion you are. For me, it's just a time of celebration and getting together or reflection and all of that. Just, wish you some goodness on this day. All
Let me
right.
just share also some to give thank you to you and wish the Jacinto family a very wonderful celebration this year.
Thank you, Doctor. Okay, so the other members of my family from the other side don't get jealous that this
Ay, sorry.
No.
I'm sorry for that. I'm just with the Jacinto family.
It's kasi, di ba, maternal and paternal. So I mean, Carmen, I'm just saying that's for everyone na.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a family member. Sorry.
Yes. And people who become family, not by blood, but just, like Mayaya Tata. And thanks, Nina, also. And I want to mention my sisters kasi they, they're too famous. Nah, just kidding. And then Dad, Merry Christmas. Thank you also for the chance to, give us a platform and a show for medical and health concerns. And thank you, Makati Med. And thank you to the people in the emergency room. Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.
I love you. Merry Christmas. Okay. I'll send Rudolph your way. No, okay. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
See you next time on Healthline with Makati Med.
Thank you for tuning in to Healthline with expert doctors from Makati Med, giving you the chance to interact, uplifting your lifestyle. Moderated by Nicole Jacinto. Tune in again next week for your weekly dose of Healthline.
The views and comments of the hosts and guests are not necessarily those of the station.